What is stages of development? We are here to enlighten you about stages of development. It is a process of growing and developing a variety of different contexts over time. It is identified four broad stages, and this process includes infancy, childhood, adolescence, and adulthood.
The prenatal period begins with a sexual intercourse between a sexually mature human male and female. During sexual intercourse, the interaction between the male and female reproductive systems results in fertilization of the egg cell by the sperm to form a zygote. The germinal stage begins at conception when the sperm and the egg cell unite in one of the two fallopian tubes. The fertilized egg is called a zygote. Just a few hours after conception, the single-celled zygote begins making a journey down the fallopian tube to the uterus. In the embryonic stage, the mass of cells is now known as an embryo. The beginning of the third week after conception marks the start of the embryonic period, a time when the mass of cells becomes distinct as a human. The embryonic stage plays an important role in the development of the brain. On the fourth week, the head begins to form, quickly followed by the eyes, nose, ears, and mouth. The blood vessel that will become the heart start to pulse. During the fifth week, buds that will form the arms and legs appear. By the eighth week of development, the embryo has all of the basic organs and parts except those of the sex organs. At this point, the embryo weighs just 1 gram and is about 1 inch in length. By the end of the embryonic period, the basic structures of the brain and central nervous system have been established. Once the cell differentiation is mostly complete, the embryo enters the next stage and becomes known as a fetus. The fetal period of prenatal development marks more important changes. This period of development begins during the 9th week and lasts until birth. This stage is marked by amazing change and growth. The early body systems and structures established in the embryonic stage continue to develop. Between the 9th and the 12th week of gestation, reflexes begin to emerge. The fetus begins to make reflexive motions with its arms and legs. Fingernails, hair, eyelashes, and toenails form. The fetus increases about 6 times in size. During the period from 7 months until birth, the fetus continues to develop, put on weight, and prepare for life outside the womb.
A toddler is a child approximately 12 to 36 months old. The toddler years are time of great cognitive, emotional, and social development. Just like a normal toddler, I noticed that my brother started to become active and playing outside and talkative when he started to reach 2 years old. He started to think of what he wants to eat and recognize color, shape, and numbers. I also noticed that he is starting to be interested in watching YouTube, and he adopts something from watching, like speaking English and counting numbers. He also starting to talk clearly as he develop his talking skills.
Early childhood starts at 3 to 6 years old. During this age, a child is expected to write alphabet and numbers. Children who are at this age are expected as well to draw shapes and stickmen. With a documentary provided of a 5-year-old who's experiencing her early childhood period, she were able to perform the basic task that she were asked to perform.
The child may start to show more independence and may want to do things on her own, just like what she's doing on the video. She's playing on her own, but they may be creative and use materials in unexpected ways, and they may start to assert their independence and may prefer playing alone or making her own decisions about what to play.
Child 6 to 12 years old can now write their own name on the paper. You can also make a command to them and they will do it without a complaint. I noticed to my younger brother that he also loves watching videos, which I know that he can learn something. Even though they stay too long on the phone watching videos, they never forget to still interact with the other kids and play with them.
Adolescent stage, ages 13 to 18, is where an individual's development are on what we call puberty. Puberty is where a person begins to have physical changes as well as being sexually matured. Individuals who are in adolescent stage can now think more strategic, logical, and idealistic. This stage is where oneself can now identify their chosen identity. As we can observe, this stage is where a person begins to work with their personal tasks as a family member. This is also where oneself can now become reliable. This stage is where a person also become independent, wherein they can now stand by themselves. This stage is where an individual starts to plan for their future career.
Early adulthood. In this stage, an individual is trying to establish oneself as an independent person with a life of one's own. A person also faces career decisions. During this stage also, an individual is concerned with developing the ability to share intimacy, seeking to form relationships and find intimate love. In early adulthood, the person is more mature than his adolescent years because of experiences in life. In this stage, an individual is establishing his or her identity more firmly in his or her likes, dislikes, preferences, and philosophies. He can also communicate well to other people.
Middle age, it is the transitional period of life between young adult and old age. It is the stage where you are about 30 to 61 years of age. In this stage, you are expected to settle and ensure your lifestyle. It often brings concerns about health, inactive in a long marriage, physical aging, elderly parents, being neck deep in a child's college tuition payments, mortgage fees, and insurance or retirement funds.
Late adulthood. Late adulthood or old age is the last and final stage of everyone's life, which includes the age of 61 years and above. It is the fastest growing age division population. It suggests that at this time, it is important to find meaning and satisfaction in life rather than to become bitter and delusion. In this stage, the people typically reach the peak of their physical strength and endurance variety their young adulthood stages. There are a variety of psychological changes during this stage such as respiratory and circulatory system, bones, and muscles.
And that are the process and the stages of development. Thank you for watching!